Steve, how are you, buddy? Other than being heartburnt.
Aside from the heartburn, I'm pretty good, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Why not, buddy? Why not? How's your weekend?
Why not? Weekend was uneventful.
Okay.
I too played lots of video games.
What?
Which was kind of nice. Yeah, I've actually got to play a great deal of games. Picked up a new game.
Oh yeah? What'd you get?
Tales of Iron.
Oh, it's like Mouse Guard, but like
Yeah.
side scroller, Dark Souls-ish. Yeah.
No. Tales of Iron is like it's a sequel to the Price of Iron from Game of Thrones, and in this one, you vivisect other grown men's genitalia. I think that's actually the game you're thinking of. It's like
that or
it's
mice.
Like,
one of the two. I can't really
yeah.
tell the difference. Like.
Oh, so it's like it's just medieval operation. Okay, all right, and just around the genitals.
Yep, specifically around that. Yeah,
Okay.
you can lop off other parts of the body too, but you gotta like. It's just the hardest thing is not letting somebody go into shock.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. 100%. Not finding a copy of this game that's not difficult because I have a feeling that might be the difficult part.
It's probably on Steam's summer sale.
Yeah, now 95% off, just like their genitals.
Oh,
Hi-yo, take that, world. Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever-maddening society, with your host, Will, and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We just finished our pre-ramble. And the great thing about the pre-ramble is nothing. There's nothing good about the pre-ramble. It's always just mindless drivel from all three of our mouths at the exact same time. If we just came onto the show and went, for like 30 minutes, that actually might have produced something a little bit more valuable than what we actually talked about in the pre-ramble. And I don't know. I'm so there for it, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to. It just feels so good on a Monday night. Anyways, welcome back to the show. My name is Will. I'm your host. Fantastic to have you all listening once again. Joining me tonight, he once tried to get out of a speeding ticket by shouting at the cop, "This is Bizarro World. Do you know why I pulled you over?" The officer was not amused, but now Colorado Highway Patrol has a chapter on going full Steve in their training manual. He's my friend Steve.
I did get out of the ticket, though.
You know what? I should have written that in there, that you didn't get out of the ticket. But now you get to determine that narrative. Son of a bitch.
Shouldn't that particular chapter be Steve written backwards?
Because of the Bizarro World thing?
Eves.
Maybe. Eves. Possibly. Also joining me tonight, before he got sober, at parties where he would drink, he would seize the initiative and draw dicks on his own face so that other people couldn't do it to him while he was passed out. He really showed us. He's our friend Tiki. Hey, Tiki.
Hey, and I'd like to point out that that's actually a proactive measure.
I know.
Well, yeah, but you're making it sound like being proactive is a bad thing. You shouldn't.
Being proactive is not necessarily a bad thing.
There you go. Thank you.
The idea, though, that we would automatically fall upon you with Sharpies and visions of dick drawings in our heads. That, however...
By the way, happen to be friends.
It's true.
And we both know what we would do.
That's true. It's a little bit true.
Just you don't get any satisfaction out of it.
I love that you would come out of the bathroom after like drawing one on your temple where you would have like a throbbing vein and being like, "Hey guys, I made this one blend.
Check it out." Yeah.
Check it out. This one's a fucking masterpiece. This big old throbber.
Yep.
Good evening, Steve. Good evening, Tiki. How the hell are you? Tiki, you go first. How are you, man?
Well, all right.
You went for a ride today, though, didn't you?
Not a short one, but yeah.
Felt good, though, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was raining, but
Get that iron horse between your legs.
It's part of the iron price, my friend.
Yeah, that's your iron price?
That's the iron price.
I think that you're paying the wrong iron price. I think you're just paying the petrol price there, buddy. Even on a motorcycle.
That is the worst part about it. I'm like, I would take my motorcycle out all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like actually kind of expensive to fill it up, and I ride a lot, so.
Yeah, expensive to fill a motorcycle up right now. That, to me, is just a little bit bonkers. Steve, how are you, my friend?
Well, outside of the heartburn, which I've recently ceased having right now.
Oh, it finally had just now. It finally happened.
He conquered it.
It seems to have subsided.
Nice.
That was his iron price.
That was your
my iron price.
That's his donut price, right? That's his marinara sauce.
That
price.
is that is my 2 days of Mexican food and salsas.
Don't make this racial, Steve. All right, Mexican food and salsas are delicious.
Yesterday tacos, today tostadas, and taco salad.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to sound like a dick, but it's actually all the same food.
No, it's different food. It's all the same ingredients prepared differently.
It's arranged differently. That's all it is.
It is arranged differently. You're absolutely right.
I don't.
That's the best thing about it.
I don't feel like I have the authority to say it's all future poop, anyways. All right, guys. All right, that's all it is. It's all just waiting to be turned into turds.
All right. I'll concede that point.
Thank you. I appreciate the concession.
Future poop.
Future poop. All food is just future poop. You're welcome, America and Brazil, if there's anybody in Brazil, and my one friend in Colombia. You know who you are. Tonight I wanted to share something with you guys, something that we've shared before that brought me a reasonable amount of joy. There is an episode of the show called China Chicken Nipple Drinkers. Do you remember this episode? Steve, you weren't part of the show back then, unfortunately.
I remember.
But Tiki, you remember this, right? All right. So.
Oh yeah, it's that one's kind of hard to forget.
China Chicken Nipple Drinkers. Go look it up. It's a good episode. We had a lot of fun with it. I have two kind of favorite segments for the show. One is when people give us corrections on information that we say on the podcast. I love those because we get to respond and make either concessions where they're appropriate or to tell you that you're absolutely we get to actually you, and you're not even in the room when we do it. Oh God, that feels so satisfying. The other one though is because this podcast is listed on Google, we get to see what search questions lead people to the show. So tonight, we've got the top 5 from the last couple of months in ascending order, and I love these. These are this is one of my favorite things ever. All right, so in the number 5 slot, people searched this to get to our show. Number 5, Girthy Rabbit. I'm not lying. Girthy Rabbit. Steve, was this just you?
It was my nickname in high school.
This was your nickname in high school. All right. So when they asked for the Girthy Rabbit, they were like,
nickname.
Mr. Steve? Yeah, that guy. Number 4, Kitty Kondo Cage. Who's Kitty? And why are you caging her? That poor sweet woman.
How does that get you back to us?
I don't know. I don't know where any of that gets
Have we
back to
said
us.
these things?
I don't know. That's the great thing. That's part of the mystery.
Have we said any combination of these?
I don't think we've ever actually said the words Girthy and rabbit in the same episode. We may have said Girthy in one episode and rabbit in another.
And the algorithm just like mash.
I think
just smushes them together.
Having those two words together is one of my new favorite things.
Girthy Rabbit.
I want to specifically. I'm gonna Google that right now.
Yeah, if I was a drinking man, I would make a drink called the Girthy Rabbit.
Yeah.
Something about carrot juice. I don't know what else would be in there. All right, so number 3, banana peel floor wax. How Google? How did this happen? I
don't Google Girthy Rabbit.
Now this one I kind of understand. do not Google Girthy
it's like
Rabbit.
that's in your search history now.
That's in my search history.
This isn't a work laptop, is it, Steve?
Not
guess that'd be
anymore.
great if it was. So we'd just like to bring you in for HR mediation. Yeah, apparently the girthy rabbit that you were looking at, highly inappropriate for a bank. Highly inappropriate for a bank. This one I actually understood a little bit. This one this one I got. This is a direct reference to Steve, I think.
So number 2, is this number 3 or
This
4?
is number 2. Banana peel floor wax. That was number 3. I don't
Okay.
get that one. I don't get it. I don't get that one. Number 2, though, I understand this one. Bounce and ride giraffe. I think that's a pure call out to Steve wanting to eat a giraffe.
But also bounce and ride on one?
Apparently you're
Right,
very
no, I
vigorous
think
with
that
your
I
food
know
before you
we-
eat it.
Well, we talked about it. I think I was talking about riding a giraffe, and he was like, "You just eat a giraffe," and I was like, "What? Why would you?" And
Why
then
wouldn't you want to eat a giraffe?
the word bounce, that could be any number of things.
That's
Probably boobs.
It's a good question. That might be a reference to you
More than
saying boobs
likely
at one point in
boobs.
time. Yes, that's very.
But bounce.
That's that they. Thank you for the jiggle physics lesson there, buddy.
There you go, dude.
And then
This
the
Professor Ticky over here.
the number 1 most searched key phrase that brought people to our podcast: Tijuana orthopedic surgeon. I'm at a loss. World, I'm at a loss. I don't understand the algorithm. I don't get it. Not sobriety, not alcoholism, not pegging. I don't know if I'm using that joke from the pre-ramble. We'll find out later.
Yeah, that one's interesting too.
Tijuana orthopedic surgeon. Who's searching for that? Who's looking at that?
Well, okay, so let's say you wanted really discounted orthopedic surgery, and you just didn't want to spend like any money.
Like at all. And
yeah,
you also wanted to see a donkey show.
and you actually, you know what's really fucking awful is we actually did mention donkey shows in Tijuana.
We did, but I don't remember
And-
orthopedic surgeon at the same
I
time.
don't
Unless I
remember that
talked about
being
Gallagher at
anything.
the same time, maybe.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
weird.
Does Gallagher moonlight in
I
Tijuana?
I don't think he's got the energy.
I'm not honest. I don't think he's licensed.
I don't think it matters in Tijuana.
I don't think it matters in Tijuana. I don't know. Maybe there is a licensing board. Who knows?
We talked about Juarez
Oversight.
as well. I'm surprised there wasn't like a Juarez, like, dental hygienist.
/ sandwich shop.
Yeah, oh, shit.
I don't know. You know what? Member of the audience, get back to us. Let us know what's the licensure like in Tijuana to run a donkey show / orthopedic clinic. I'm curious. I want to know what it is.
Do you want new teeth like the donkey has?
If I can get them. Big old chompers, some gnashers, some big old goddamn gnashers. Heck yeah.
Then I'm just.
That was
Then it's
wacky.
just odd from there, actually. Yeah. So anyway, yeah,
I don't know.
so that was weird. Yeah.
I get those. I get updates on that like every, I don't know, 6 months ish, and it's not like we have like a lot of hits across any of them, but like those were those are the ones that I thought were kind of funny. A little bit.
I would like
weird.
to hear from anybody. I would like to hear from anybody in our audience that actually used those Google search terms to get to us.
That'd be
Yeah, I want to know
nice.
why they combined those specific words in any case.
I mean,
Girthy
just,
Rabbit
just
is
Girthy
just the
Rabbit.
new- That one's like awesome. I want to get that as a bumper sticker on my car.
You don't.
That'll be
Don't
the
do it.
new mascot for the show.
It'll be the new mascot for the show.
We'll all go
think
to we'll all go
actually-
to Vegas and soberly get that tattooed somewhere on us.
Now when you say Girthy Rabbit, you have to say not a sponsor because it's a thing.
Girthy Rabbit Productions. I'm gonna make that a thing. That's gonna be my new production
Girthy
company.
Rabbit, not a
Awesome.
sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Good game. Go team. Speaking of things that need sponsors, my name's Will. I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Tiki, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve. I'm not an alcoholic, but that was a great segue.
I wasn't bad.
That was
I'm
a
not,
great
I
segue.
really enjoyed that transition
Thank
so
you.
That
much.
was good.
No psyop for you guys today.
What?
Yeah.
Aw, we needed another 30 minutes of content. You were supposed to
mean-
provide that to us.
If you'd like, we could talk about
No,
how
we can just-
I've really
don't
been
have to.
pondering what the front of an octopus is.
That's a good one.
Like, So when they're on the thing, like
Yeah,
they
this is
they
it.
face one way, but when they're swimming, they're kind of facing another. What is the front of an octopus?
Well, I mean, their eyes are on the sides of their heads.
Yeah, that doesn't help with the front.
No, that's what I was just actually throwing that out there because
Yeah, no,
and their
I think you're
beaks
just listing.
Their beaks are symmetrical, right?
Kind of underneath.
Yeah, and underneath.
So is that the front?
Maybe that's the front. But
Oh,
then
no,
they're
they're
always
not-
going.
no,
They're
no,
then
no,
they're
no,
always
it's-
going ass forward while they're
Are
swimming.
we looking
Octopus
at
doesn't have a
octopuses
beak.
wrong?
I don't think
Like-
so.
Here's the thing. I have genuinely been pondering this. Like, I
There's-
really
man.
want to know. Like,
We need to
what
get
is
like
the front
an
of an
expert in
octopus?
cephalopods on here. Do
and
we
then
know any
where does
experts
squid
on
come in?
cephalopods?
You know what? Maybe we do know somebody who works the aquarium.
we do. Maybe we could have Colleen on.
To answer
Just
this
answer this
Yeah,
one
just to answer
question.
this one question.
And
Well,
then hang up on
like,
them.
look. We need about 45 minutes of your time for a 2-second question, and that'll be our psyop on the
Even
on the
worse to
community.
like keep her on the call the entire time.
Yeah, like we
Is this
run
what
the
you do?
we run the entirety of the show, and then at the very end, oh, Colleen, forgot you were here.
Oh,
Last thing,
yeah.
front of an octopus. Where are we on that?
I mean, when they're swimming, you
knows.
think the
That's a
front
good
is the
question.
top.
Right.
Is that the top or is that the front?
I thought that was the butt.
No, that's the top.
Is that the butt? I thought it
It's
was
not
their
the butt.
head.
It's not the butt.
No, I actually don't know where their butt is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Of all
where
the
octopus
people
God,
is.
to
you know
admit
what?
to that, I'm proud of you for admitting to
Yeah,
that.
well now I'm stuck thinking about that last episode of The Boys, and that's just even. That's weird. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Well then, you
Didn't
know
see it.
what?
No
We don't have
spoilers,
to talk
buddy.
about it. It's fine.
No spoilers.
I just said I don't want to talk about it.
Thank you. Wait, for your own sake or for my sake? Because if it's for your own sake, then we should talk about it. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
So that's a good point, though. That's an interesting point.
That is. Oh man, curious.
So
Yep.
so it's really weird with like squid
Yeah.
because it's the opposite. So like their beak, the way that they move is they move in with their like long tentacles, but they move down. What you would think is down from like their pointy head. They actually move towards things to bite and to chomp on stuff, and they use their tentacles to grab it.
Oh yeah, because they got the fins on the side of their
So
And
they're
it's
like
outside of their,
those.
what
Yeah,
looks like a
yeah.
head.
Got it.
reverse
Yeah, yeah,
octopuses.
yeah.
Kinda.
Octopi.
No, they're not. They're not octopuses. I actually think
Reverse-topus?
if my understanding of the encephalopodic history is correct,
We need a Zoidberg
there
on
was
this show.
we are in the armistice phase of the octopi versus squid wars.
I knew that this was an international or intergalactic
it's
conflict.
it's continental. This actually it is intergalactic
Yeah,
technically.
that
This
makes
is the
sense.
battle was just being fought here as a
I'm thinking
proxy
about
war,
space
kind of like
octopus.
yeah. Think about like how America like backed the Mujahideen in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And against the Russians, right?
During
It's a
the
proxy
70s,
war.
yeah.
That's what's going on here with the octopus versus the squid.
Wait, which side is America on?
I don't care what side America's on. What side are you on?
What side am I on?
What side are you on, Steve?
I don't know because I don't know which side the front is. If I can understand
That's right, you-
that
you
side,
can't,
which side
like-
I can pick a side.
And you can only really look an octopus in one eye at a time. How can you trust those 8?
I mean, they're constantly changing colors, very shifty.
Very
Not
shifty.
Sure they could be trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel like the used car salesman of the universe.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like there's but there are other players in it too. Like you can think of like the cuttlefish of the cuttlefish of Cthulhu. The cuttlefish, those are like because they do actually change color, but they also have like kind of like tentacled mouths and all that. They're actually a neutral third party. They're smugglers. Turns out.
Nice.
Yeah, they're actually the ones that move. You know, they move in the shadows. They actually get all the.
You know what? I was about to give you like full marks for being really creative. This is just a movie that you've had to watch, isn't it?
No.
That's all that this
No,
is.
I
Like, you
wish,
you're
I
not coming up
wish.
with shit. This is literally like this is
No.
like Pod Wars.
I
From
was
across the
really-
galaxy,
plot lines.
they've got
God.
lots of tentacles, and
So I
they're
didn't even
after
think about
your
it as
women.
a movie. I was actually just basically just going along, seeing how long I can make it sound plausible. And
Well,
at
since
this
I
point
know
in
it's a
time-
script,
no,
If
it's not.
If it's not a movie he's watched, it's a movie I'm sure he can find.
or one that he wants to make, I still
if
think
I
you should be
could.
making movies, Tiki.
Yeah, the couch one specifically.
The couch one specifically.
The couch movie.
Yeah, the deadly demon infested couch
I
movie
already
that we
told
had.
you there's already a movie called Killer Sofa.
I know.
We want to ape it.
There's
We want
there's
to...
the killer sofa. There's a killer bed. And then there's God. I think there's one that's like a lazy. No, the lazy boy. I don't think it's been done. I think that's what we talked about was maybe doing
just
the
like
killer lazy boy.
just like the Star Wars knockoff you talked about. This is going to be that.
Battle Star Wars.
Battle Star Wars. Totally not Star Wars.
Totally 100% not Star Wars. Cheers. All right. Well, that was a good psyop, Steve. I know that I could have gracefully
Could have
moved past the,
I don't know.
but that was a good one. I think
That is the nonsense that's been plaguing me.
that is
recently.
nonsensical. And it
You're
didn't
a
help
weird
that.
dude.
Well, and now I'm thinking about, like, if I'm not sure what side of an octopus is the front, what side of the Cthulhu is the front.
Well, Cthulhu's pretty obvious. His
Yeah,
eyeballs
Cthulhu
are
I think is
front.
pretty obvious.
He has bat wings on his back.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Are they
put
on
bat
his
Those
back?
aren't on the
Maybe
side.
they're on the
all right?
side.
No.
No, and he only has tentacles over his mouth.
Now, all the
That's what they
stuff
call
in the Cthulhu mythos that's like really, really weird, they make a point of it being really, like, oh, which
To make a
one?
point
What's
of it having a front.
what's Shub-Niggurath? Is that the one?
Shub-Niggurath, yeah.
Yeah, is
Or
that
the
the
Shoggoth?
or
The Shoggoth is the one that's like basically like a little like pustule kind of like creature. It could be the size of a house that's got like all these eyeballs and tentacles
Yeah,
sticking out
yeah,
of it in random places.
yeah,
The thing of it is because this all comes out of chaos, you're not going to have any kind of symmetry with it. That's the whole point. That's why the descriptions are always like really weird and fucked up.
yeah.
They're chaos. So, would you be able to tell the front or the back of a Shoggoth? No, definitely not.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Can't
would.
even tell the front of the
It's-
back of a regular
It's all.
octopus.
It's in theory. It's all the front. Yeah, maybe that's the way you need to look at the octopus. Maybe all of it's
All of it's the front. It's all the front.
I like that.
100%. All right, cheers. All right. Well,
Yeah, we
so
solved it.
this weekend in sober news, so I had the opportunity. So my sister-in-law had her 40th birthday, and that was great. My wife and some of my sister-in-law's best friends planned this big gigantic weekend, and the sort of ringleader for this group of people is a pretty pretty amazing type A high-powered woman who works for super, super high levels of Nike corporate. That's how my sister-in-law and she know each other. And they did a night at the Ritz-Carlton and like amazing sushi downtown. And they were going to do a whole like bar kind of crawl kind of a thing. And they invited me to it. And I had two very conflicting thoughts. One was I was really flattered that they would invite me at all, since I would not expect to be invited to basically a girls' weekend. And it wasn't because I would be like a designated driver. Everybody was staying downtown anyway, so it's not like I was there for utility. I wasn't basically just a walking cargo shorts pants
Uber driver.
Uber driver, right?
Yeah.
Not just there to hold wallets and take them home at the end of the night. No, they actually wanted to extend the invite to me, and this is not a person. The ringleader lady, she is not a person that does things for the sake of nicety. Like if she invites you, she wants you there. For whatever reason, she wants you there. So I was incredibly flattered, and this would actually be the first time that I would have been out to a bar-type environment. And I noticed that the day that it was supposed to happen, I was feeling really, really nervous and kind of frustrated and a little bit anxious. And I didn't understand why I was feeling that way until I actually talked to my oldest, because he asked me to do him a favor. I was grumpy and frustrated, and I snapped at him a little bit. And later on, when I apologized to him, I was like, hey, look, I'm really sorry. After thinking about it, and he knows that I'm an alcoholic, I am nervous and kind of weirded out at the possibility of going to a bar tonight. And he was like, well, why is that, Dad? I was like, well, do I drink anymore? He's like, no, you don't drink anymore. That's right. I don't drink anymore. There's going to be a situation where I'll be around other people in a social setting, and they're all going to be drinking. Now, I try not to be, I try not to be judgy of other people, indulging in their, in their vices. My battle with my vice is just that. It's mine. It's nobody else's, not somebody else's garden to tend, just like nobody else's garden is mine to tend unless they ask for my assistance in some way, right? So it's still like I can intellectualize that, but when I see other people drinking, it's still like it frustrates me because I wish I could, but then I'm also like, well, you're making better choices than they are, and then that gets into this sort of like kind of judgy territory where I don't want to be, because I feel like that's just a shitty way of thinking about the way that other people engage with their with alcohol or cigarettes or basically anything, right? To compare their journey to my journey. Like if they can moderate, if they want to have a night where they're partying, that's fine. That's okay. Intellectually, I understand that. Emotionally, that's still something that I'm wrestling with. That's still, 2 years in, but I've never been in those situations where a large amount of people, including strangers, people that I don't have any previous exposure to, are engaged in this stuff, and I don't have that backstory. Like if I go to Fireball's place for Stanley Cup viewing and everybody's having drinks and having a good time, I love all the people in that room. It's fine. It's fine. That's okay. I didn't have a problem when we got together for the Edmonton game, a couple weeks back. But amongst strangers, where I'm kind of inclined to judge people that are downtown as being downtown people anyways, that's where I'm trying, like, that I have some some misgivings about the way that I feel emotionally about them, and that's just something that I'll have to work on in the future. And then also, with that is the whole idea of really wishing that I could engage with alcohol in a healthy way, and then not being able to, and having to bring all of that together at the same time, and then go be social in a way that doesn't do the thing that I normally do when I'm in social situations, which is put myself at the center, because that weekend was not going to be about me whatsoever. And while it's easier for me to control when I'm sober, there's still a part of me that loves that attention, loves and craves that attention. I mean, there's a reason that I have a 3 nights a week stream, a podcast with 2 of my friends, and then put that up on YouTube as well. Like, I like the attention, obviously. So, all of that being said, the bar part of it got canceled anyways, so I felt like an incredible amount of relief, and that was kind of weird as well. So I don't know. I don't know if this is something that I'll have to move through and be able to actually engage with, because you got to go where other people are if you want to be somebody that socializes. You just got to have a plan for when things get too hairy, as far as feeling overwhelmed with, having to say no to alcohol when you're in places where there is alcohol. So anyways, that's my sobriety check-in.
Cool, dude. I've basically been trying to fight off boredom. It's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of just the boredom, and then the just kind of the self-destructive nature of alcohol, plus my attitude when I start getting frustrated or I start getting annoyed. It's those are the 2 big pieces for me right now. Not really thinking a lot about alcohol. I think I had a weird dream the other night about something, but it didn't stick with me, so I don't really care too much to dwell on it. I think I had a dream about alcohol or drinking or something, but I just don't recall what all it was. And yeah, that's about the extent of it. I don't have any kind of catharsis or need for therapy over it right now. But it is what it is,
Yeah.
And I totally feel you what you were saying. It's going into those situations can be tough. The one thing that I've learned from my little bit of experience has been, and I've actually avoided those situations quite a bit. But the ones that I've gone into, I've really had it hasn't been as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because I was around friends and I was around people who knew that I didn't drink. It's not like anyone was asking me or pressuring me. They just were, cool. They just basically didn't offer.
Yeah.
And that's nice too. But I totally get like the the backstory, the stranger in a strange land kind of like feeling of being the outsider when you go in, and then kind of like wanting to be a part of that social interaction. I mean, I think you and I are kind of on the same page with that.
Yeah.
A little bit over the top in terms of, you know, the desire for attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that sucks, man. But you know, hopefully it'll, you know, for all of us, hopefully things. I'm okay with things being status quo for a little while longer.
Yeah.
They don't have to get better. Just status quo is fine by me.
As long as they don't get worse.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I said that, I didn't mean for like it was not the group of people that I would have been with that was going to cause any issue, because all of them, I think, know that I'm an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
Like, and you know, would have no problem telling them, even if. But I think that before she extended the invitation, she knew that I was an alcoholic, and I think one of the questions she asked was, like, I'd like to invite him. Will he be okay in this instance? And she asked my wife. My wife said, "Yeah, I think he'll be just fine." So not them, just, you know, other people at the bar.
Right.
The strangers
Oh,
at
no,
the bar.
no. Yeah,
not the very, you know, kind, fun
The-
people that I would have been hanging out with.
Yeah, exactly. That's to your point, that it's the going to Fireballs and like, I have a backstory here.
Yeah.
I have all of these people. I don't have to, you know, be over the top with anything. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm glad that you're able to deal with it, though. That's...
Well, I don't know about deal with it. I mean, it did cancel, so I didn't have to like go through that, you know, sort of quote unquote crucible. But it is something that's going to be in my mind moving forward if I get invited to those kind of situations in the future. Just something to keep in mind.
There's the build up, the anticipation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Gotcha. Thanks, man. Steve, you got anything to share?
No. I mean, things have been pretty quiet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't got much, man. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's all right, man. If you know, suburban life is suburban life, bud. I get it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's rather uneventful.
Sometimes it feels incredibly overwhelming when it's just the normal shit, and sometimes it feels, you know, completely stagnant, even though you're doing like lots of stuff. Like, I had a bunch of chores I had to get done today. I had, you know, appointments to make. I have a physical I got to get done because we changed insurance. Like, it's all just suburban shit. And I wouldn't call today an eventful day, but I had about 2 hours in the middle of the afternoon to kind of sit down and think about what was happening for the rest of the week. And the rest of the time, I've been up to something, either trying to get my motorcycle into the shop, or arrange the physical with the new doctor, or get my older cat in to see the vet because we think that her liver might be failing. Like, you know, so just suburban shit, man. It doesn't. Not everything has to be a Category 5 hurricane. You know.
Yep.
So
That's how
cheers.
Mostly just hot.
Mostly just very warm. In our unders, my friends, in our unders. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and one of the things that I think is really important in keeping sober, is maintaining momentum. I think that it's really easy. At least this is a very anecdotal. So, you know, take from it what you will. Leave the rest behind. Since getting sober, I have had a couple of very specific health-related goals that I have wanted to pursue. Now, I've had some professional goals that I've been pursuing as well. You know, the creation of the podcast, the live stream. Like, I've got those as goals as well, and I think that those help. But I have had a health goal, which is to lose 100 pounds. And over the period of the last 2 years, I'm 90% of the way there. So, you know, do the math, 90% of the way there, another 10 pounds to go to get from 280 to 180 pounds. And the amount of things that I've had to do incrementally increased over the period of time that I've been losing that weight. So it started with just you know, changes in my diet, small changes in my diet that led to larger changes in my diet that eventually led to exercising. That now I have the dietary changes, I have the exercise changes. I'm fucking taking supplements. Supplements, people. Fish oil. That's insane. Why am I taking? I just gargling some fish oil. But I think that in terms of keeping me sober, having these goals that I have been working and striving for has made it so much easier to point to things that are going better in my life than they were than before I got sober, before I started working on my health. Having tangibles that I can point to and say, look, if I drink, is there a possibility that all of this work, all of this, like, you know, and it doesn't sound like a lot to say I sacrificed a bunch of donuts, and not like on an altar. It wasn't like, you know, all cult-like with a dagger and me in a robe and a virgin in the corner.
Oh,
no.
man.
That's how I eat donuts.
That's how you exactly.
Donuts have got a hole. We were just talking about something earlier.
Yeah, you were. I like to play ring toss. Anyways, thank you, fucking psyop joke masters. You know, it doesn't sound like a lot to say I sacrificed donuts, but I haven't eaten a donut in, you know, basically 2 years. That's a long time for me to have gone without a donut if you consider my history with donuts prior to getting sober. And I worry that if I make a mistake in my sobriety, how much of that sacrifice, how much of the work that I put in will be pushed to the wayside. So it's really easy for me to think to myself, you know, I have a goal, I set a goal, I'm reaching those goals, and every one of those goals that I reach keeps me in a state of forward motion, keeps me, you know, able to maintain my momentum moving forward in my life. And I think that could be a very powerful tool for anybody that's struggling on a day-to-day basis in recovery to start making small, tangible goals for themselves and then fulfilling those goals and looking back at all of those things that they've done and saying, you know, I've you know, I cut processed this out of my diet. I stopped drinking, you know, full sugar caffeinated beverages out of my diet. I've done all of these things. I can also maintain my sobriety for another day because I've done all this stuff. Then take all of that and layer on the idea of making small incremental changes to your personal life in terms of how you treat other people, in terms of your professional life, and what you would like to see for yourself moving forward. You know, oftentimes I find that people can be stagnant where they're at. And that stagnant place frustrates them in a lot of ways. Having small goals to work towards to get you out of that stagnant place. We're not talking about big, gigantic things, just little things that you determine for yourself. All of these things can help to keep that momentum, to keep you moving forward, and to keep you satisfied in your life. Like the times that I've been most satisfied with myself are when I set out a goal and then I achieved that goal. Not when somebody else set it for me, but when I said, you know what, I'm going to become a certified surgical first assistant. I'm going to do that. The day that I passed that test was one of the happiest days I can remember. So I think that setting goals, setting small goals, building on them, and keeping that momentum could be something that could be very useful to anybody out there that's struggling in their recovery. I think that could be a really, really big tent pole for you to you know, pitch a tent under and shelter yourself in. Metaphor.
Like a girthy tent pole?
Full of girthy rabbits. slathered in girthy rabbit fur. Hassenpfeffer. Good
really
game.
Weird.
Go team.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was gonna say as long as it's not crunchy rabbit fur.
No, you
What are
gross.
you up to with those girthy rabbits?
What have you been?
That happens at the end.
Steve. That happens at the end. It's just hair gel. It's just hair gel, you guys.
Yep. All right.
Cheers. So yeah. That's what I had for an alcohol related topic.
Yeah.
I just want to say, obviously that is the goal setting in this particular reference, I guess, frame of reference is about alcohol. But I think that everything you just said can be absolutely applied to anybody for anything. If you just want to better your life a little bit, if you're struggling with just anything, the humdrum of suburban life or whatever, little tangible goals, I think. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of tack that on at the end. So I know not all of our listeners are recovering. I mean, I know plenty of them are, and that's great. I'm not saying that like this is a good tool, but
right
for any of for all of us too, myself included, I think that this is a great thought process to pursue.
Yeah.
Just little things, drops in a bucket, right? If I was still unhealthy, but I was working on other little things and other little goals, like that would be harder because I, would potentially still be drinking or, still unhealthy in a bunch of other ways. I'd still be better off if I was working towards little goals along the way, even with that all said. So, I've of late become very enamored of the phrase, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. There's help there if you reach for it. But you got to do the reaching. The initiative is yours. You've got to be the one to make up your mind, to decide that you're going to find a plan of action and then start working on that plan of action. And that can include other people. That can include people that want to help. Absolutely, 100%. But nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody can. You're the only person that can get your feet moving on the path.
Nobody else is going to come along and push your rope uphill.
Yep, not a chance. Pushing rope uphill. Oof.
Nice. Either that or I was going to make a comment about girthy rabbits.
Something about Viagra?
Viagra.
Pushing rope, baby. It's that marshmallow in a toaster.
Hey, man. Look, no one's gonna. You're gonna have to work towards it if you want to get your hole pegged.
Yeah, we're not
girthy rabbit.
Yeah, girthy rabbit. God damn, that's gonna
work. I like that actually. From now on, that'd be like a really fun, like weird superhero.
The girthy rabbit. Just put it next to Squirrel Girl and Howard the Duck.
I was gonna say he goes with the Tick.
Yeah, goes with the. Oh my God, it would. The Tick and Batman. Well. Chairface Chippendale. God, that was a good show.
All of its iterations have actually been pretty good.
Yeah. Patrick Warburton is the Tick. Who? Oh, so good. Anyways.
All right. Stay on target. So for tonight's gaming conversation, I wanted to talk a little. So Steve, you've been a Magic the Gathering player for how long?
Oh, since I was in 10th grade.
10th grade. You just turned 40.
I think that's when I picked it up. Sounds about right.
So this would have been 95?
15, 16, something like that. Yeah.
No, this would have been 97 then, right? Yeah. Yeah, 97. Dang, son. That's a long time to have been playing this particular game.
Yeah, at this point in time, I'm pretty sure that the crystal in the palm of your hand should be flashing red.
I mean, it very much already is.
I don't get that one.
Hence the heartburn.
It's Logan's Run. No, God damn it, it's Logan's Run.
Yeah, sorry, never saw it.
Shut up.
My bad.
I got the reference, Tiki. You're okay.
Thank you.
Don't let him off the hook. I didn't understand it. Was it an old joke?
No, it's a movie. God damn it.
Well,
That
but it was
old
an
movie?
old joke. It was about being.
It is an old movie. Shut up.
0.5% of our audience understood that. I love it. Actually, we did recently get a new member of the community who I think is a really kind of interesting guy. He's like 2 years older than I am. Lived in Seattle for a while. Has a lot of the same like hobbies. Is an alcoholic. A lot of the same things were lining up. So I wonder if he knows. So Tweezes, if you hear this, let me know if you've seen Logan Run, and if that justifies Ticky's use
Logan
of
Run.
I said Logan's Run.
You did not.
Logan's
You
Run.
did not.
I just
You
said it real
Logan.
fast.
You just said Logan Run.
Yeah, it's like
Just what?
Run Lola Run, like Logan Run,
Logan Run.
it's
right?
not. Oh God, you're the worst.
With friends like these, huh? So, anyways, the game longevity, Magic the Gathering, the standard format for that is basically it's just been around as a staple now since 1993. You got into it in 97. That's a long ass time to be playing that version of the game. Now you kind of switched over to playing the Commander format,
Yes.
but there's still a lot of the turn format is all the same. The way that we build build
Yeah, the way
decks
the
is
decks
different.
are built are a little bit different.
That's definitely different.
Yeah,
but
the cards are the same. It's not like anything's different. I honestly, my switch for me, for as a personal thing, is what has helped me stick with the longevity of the game. I used to play, as you kind of mentioned, I used to play Standard for a very, very long time, and Standard always rotated, right? So a set would come out, and I forget because I've kind of been out of it for so long. The Standard format always encompassed whatever the current set was, plus like the 3 prior or something to that effect. But it would always rotate. New set would come out, and every so often, then older ones would drop off. So you were constantly chasing cards, constantly staying up to date on the game. And for me, that got too financially difficult.
Sure.
It got exhausting. Trying to stay up to date with it in that regard. And that's where I kind of discovered the Commander format, EDH format, which it allowed me to use this massive back catalog of cards that I had just amassed over, that time. Because I was never the kind of like person, I knew plenty of other players who would, a set would come out, they'd buy it, and then they'd sell it. Once that set rotated out, they would sell off all their stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, this was like a legacy, a vintage format that has allowed me to stick with the game. Not that I don't still buy all the new stuff, because of course I do. It feels better to me, as far as, and this kind of goes to your larger point in your question. This is one of the longevity. It feels better that I can use everything. I can use anything. There's nothing really that's off limits anymore.
So one of the questions that I kind of have about, so this is one form of game longevity, which is kind of a built-in system of turnover that, so the EDH format that you're talking about, that was created by the fans, wasn't it? And then it was later adopted by Wizards of the Coast, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that was an active community creating a version of the game that they could continue to play without the express, sort of permission or support of the parent company that was creating the game. So that's one sort of aspect of what gives a game longevity, is the active community. So we've got active community. Modability, I think, is a really, really big part of what can potentially give a game a certain sense of longevity. Like if we look at games like Skyrim, I think was released in 2006. I mean, this is like, this is a really, really old. I feel like I'm
keep releasing it.
I feel like that's got to be wrong. Skyrim. Let's look it up real quick.
Google here. Yeah.
Skyrim release date. Sorry, not 2006, 2011. So it's been out for 10 years. 10 years. I don't know why I thought 2006. Maybe.
I don't know why you think 2011 to 2022 is 10 years.
Well, it's
It would be
November 11th of. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, because I'm not good at math.
It's ballpark it.
I really like
11
poker
years.
though, but I'm not good at math.
Weird.
So yeah, pardon me, Tiki. 11 years. My mistake. A little more than a decade. Better? I'm going to edit that out. My math mistake is getting edited out. I am the producer. I have control. I control the vertical. I control the horizontal.
Oh, yes, the outer limits. God, you know the outer limits? You don't know Logan's Run.
I'm just throwing you curveballs tonight, buddy.
Hate you.
So, Skyrim, came out 11 years ago, and I feel like there's this place between a company actively supporting a game, a company cynically trying for cash grabs, and communities actively modding or adapting games to create a longevity that they want to foster because they either love the gameplay mechanics or the lore or the basic world, or some aspect of the game. With EDH, I feel that Wizards of the Coast now puts out products that directly support it, and I think that that's in general a really good thing. But I think that the standard version of the game feels like cynical cash grabby. Like,
ooh. I don't know.
You don't know, right? I mean, they're a company. They're a gaming company.
Yeah, and rotating your set constantly. I get what you're saying. Like
right.
Cycling out something to make you buy the new stuff definitely feels cash grabby.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
Like
that feels like planned obsolescence.
Yeah, it feels like Apple products. I feel like
it is. I mean,
Apple products.
2 years in, my Apple product doesn't work anymore. Son of a bitch.
That being said, I mean, even so, while standard was one of the major formats, that wasn't the only format. So that's the only reason where I kind of don't necessarily think that it was so cash grabby. I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say there, because vintage and legacy formats existed.
Okay, so those were officially
recognized. There were tournaments for the vintage format, which technically allowed everything. I think, or I mean, there were restricted cards and there were banned cards and stuff like that. But,
sure.
So because those were simultaneous, I don't know if it was such. I mean, yes, it was a cash grab, obviously, but it wasn't strictly that. I think as the company is progressed, it absolutely is. They do things like they had a Stranger Things tie-in, not set, but little drop, the secret lair drops of cards. Same thing, like they had a Godzilla tie-in. So these little things are just give us your money.
Right.
There was a Walking Dead one too.
There's a Warhammer 40K one coming out, and I'm gonna probably end up buying that crap. I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
What
Shut up and take my money.
Abaddon the Despoiler doing on a Magic the Gathering card, and why am I bringing him up against a Nicol Bolas? That's so wrong. It feels dirty. Oh, it feels so good. So we've got games like that, and WotC does they can make a product that, as long as it's selling. I mean, I don't necessarily know if there's something unethical there. I think that it might be shitty to have things phase out, but if they're going to do things like support the legacy format so that if I don't ever want to buy another card again, I can still have meaningful interaction with the community and with the games, I think that's a good thing. So I wasn't singling WotC out for that.
Oh, no, I am. Fuck them.
Okay, cheers. However, you get companies like Bethesda. Now, if Bethesda put out a game, 11 years ago now, and they keep re-releasing it at not premium prices, but I think the last time that I saw a new Skyrim, new version of Skyrim for something come out, it was in the $30 to $40 range for something that had been created over a decade ago, that the only reason that it was still had any player base was because of a giant active community of people that were putting in work to fix all of the bullshit issues with the combat in that game is absolute dog shit. It's in the base game, dog shit combat, just terrible. But through the mod community, a lot of those rough edges all got kind of smoothed out. So now we have a company in Bethesda re-releasing this game to continually try to make a profit from it, while the community that is supporting it is not reaping any of the benefit of that, because it's not like they're updating it. They're not like making it necessarily better from Bethesda, from the manufacturer or from the producer. It's the community that makes it better. So that kind of bothered me. That actually, like, every single time I see somebody boot up Skyrim, I'm like, dude, you got to stop playing that game, all right? You guys got like Bethesda needs to do better. Like Fallout 76 when it first came out was an absolute dog shit game. Now they've worked on it and apparently it's better. It was on sale a little while ago and I bought it, and I will probably play it to try it out.
The cool thing about that Fallout 76. The best part about it is this is what I have discovered with it.
Mm-hmm.
I played it from like basically launch. Eventually, everybody else left the game, and I was left alone to play it like it was a single player game, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do is get rid of the multiplayer piece of it. You're gonna have fun.
And it was a great game.
And it was a great game. Yeah.
Then it was like Fallout 4, just not quite as big.
Not quite as big.
Fallout 4 had a lot going on.
Oh yeah, no, the Bethesda Fallout games I really enjoyed. I enjoyed all three of them. Skyrim was really magical for like 2 hours, and then after that it was dog crap. And then the mod community put a bunch of stuff out for it, and then it was interesting again for a little while. But then I don't know. It felt cynical to keep re-releasing new editions. Skyrim Ultimate Edition now with better blades of grass. Oh, come on, guys! Like, this is just it's gotten ridiculous.
We fixed that issue with the grass that everybody was so upset about.
It's a really important issue.
But I got a question then. This
sure.
Just makes you think. So, what game have you bought over and over and over?
Skyrim.
Have you?
I've bought, I think, 3 copies of it. I bought the Xbox. I think Xbox One. I have a copy of it for Xbox One. I have a copy of it for PC, and then I have the VR copy because I bought in a peak of drunken morning when Leroy died. I bought myself an Oculus Rift as kind of a like retail therapy. And I bought Skyrim for it. And then, of course, like I started playing Skyrim in VR and immediately made myself sick. Like that took about 5 minutes of like trying to walk around before I was like, oh, I'm motion sick. This sucks. The only games I can play with the Oculus Rift are like any kind of flight sim games. Like Elite Dangerous is amazing in it. Star Wars Squadron is really, really good. It feels... It's like a VR version of like TIE Fighter. It's so good. It's such a great game. I wish I had a little bit more time to play video games to be able to play that one.
Titanfall 2. I have it for the Xbox, but then I also have it for my PC through Origin. And that's mainly because none of my friends had it on Xbox or it had it anymore. So I think it was like Russ was like, no, or I was like, I got an Xbox. He's like, I don't own an Xbox. I'm like, well, then what were we playing when we did? Oh.
I don't know. Like, I would buy another Skyrim and then immediately be like, okay, 2 hours in. Oh, is this better? No, it's the same. Shit, they tricked me again.
Aha, fool me once.
I can't. More money. Like, you tell me there's dragons in it, and I play somebody called the Dovahkiin. Like I'm like, oh my god, this sounds amazing. But then I get into it and I'm like, it's not that good.
No, just wait, dude, because pretty soon there's going to be a game where you're going to play the Muad'Dib and you're going to ride the
Yeah.
damn
Say ride
sandworms.
the worm. Just say ride the worm.
worm.
Ride the worm.
Just
Ride
ride
the
the worm.
girthy rabbit.
Ride the goddamn girthy rabbit. You got there right before I did. Fuck.
So for me, it's been Kingdom Hearts. I've bought, I think,
Botten? Didn't you go to college?
No. I did.
Fuck you didn't.
No, I did. I think I have that at least 3 times. Possibly one that I feel like.
Wait,
I'm
like the
forgetting.
original Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, they've released it
Wow.
repeatedly, and I bought it each time because I love that goddamn game.
Well, see, that's
Like, they
different though.
updated
That's
and,
like a game that you really love, and I don't consider that a game that has like forced longevity. That's like me saying, "Well, I
know,
keep
man.
playing Mario Brothers." Well, that doesn't get any support from the company. Like Nintendo's not like, we're now going to release Super Mario Brothers for the 15th time, and it's the exact same one that you bought in 1988 for the Nintendo. Like, that doesn't happen. No, they come out with a new
happens.
goddamn Super Mario Brothers every like 2.5, 3 years, and every time they do, they change something about it. So it's always A, an amazing game, B, it's always an update on the format. There's always an update on the format that they do.
So versus these ones that you guys, where they're just like, here you go.
Yeah, kind
I
of.
changed this blade of grass.
Yep. Yep. It's like
Alright.
I want you know, we do kind of have this like, oh, I want the new shiny thing, but the new shiny thing, I don't want the shine to wear off within like 4 or 5 hours of starting to play the game, right? And you can do that. There are games that, you know, will hold my attention for hours upon hours. Like, ooh, here's a great example. Diablo 3. Diablo 3, when it was released, was a terrible game. However, they worked on it. They got rid of the stuff that didn't work, and then they introduced the seasonal journeys. And in every single seasonal journey, and these are all free to play, every single seasonal journey, they would tweak 4 or 5 like minor things and then one major thing. So it made all of the gameplay just different enough that climbing the seasonal ladder with new characters felt, you know, if I took a, 3-month break between seasons, it felt fresh enough to be really, really enjoyable. And that's what I'm playing right now, is I'm really enjoying playing Diablo 3. I've got a buddy that plays it. We'll probably play a little bit on stream one of these nights. Really enjoying that.
Isn't there some controversy about like some new Diablo? Like,
Diablo Immortal, but
yeah,
that's because
the one.
Diablo
Yeah.
Immortal is a MOBA, a mobile game,
Yeah,
and
that is
mobile
just
games
like-
are cynical cash grabs. They are cynical cash grabs designed to fleece poor,
Something
stupid
like
people.
without paying it, it would take you like.
It was really. You can find the video online. It was pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Like their launch, like the entire fan base was just all quiet and like, what the fuck is this?
Well, they were expecting to hear about Diablo 4, which is coming out, and I'm excited about that, and I will probably purchase that because, 1, it looks good. 2, it's returning to the darker tone of Diablos 1 and 2. Diablo 3 kind of had a departure towards a more cartoony kind of a look.
Okay.
But Diablo 4 looks like it's returning to the sort of gothic horror aesthetic, and that looks enjoyable. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, there's game longevity without the cynical cash grab in Diablo 3, which is kind of funny because it's a Blizzard Activision game. And that's not exactly what I would have thought. But then something kind of in the middle where Wizards of the Coast is putting out a game that has a planned obsolescence model to it, but also supports other formats of the game that don't have a planned obsolescence model to it. And then we have Skyrim, where Bethesda is actively taking advantage of a modding community to continue to sell bullshit copies of a game that came out over a decade ago. Dun, 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 dun. Wrapped it up.
When you mentioned longevity, the first game that came to my mind was probably Counter-Strike Go.
Oh yeah, that's been
Like
around.
it's just been like no one's even changed anything about it in like 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but I think, but that's I guess, a different style. But at the same time, there's something about that the player community really enjoys, and there isn't a lot of need for all of these extra things added into it.
Right.
Yeah.
And those aren't shooters aren't usually waters that I swim in, especially the really highly competitive ones that aren't thematic. Like Hunt, I like playing Hunt. I had a great game. I had a great night of playing Hunt on Friday night. Had my first 4-kill night, or first 4-kill match.
Oh, man, I do not have my kazoo, otherwise
That's exactly right. I would totally toot my own horn here. It was really, we actually ended up losing that game. We still lost that game even with that. And I got out of it and I was like, you know what? This was awesome. I had a great time. I hate losing, but I did like killing those other 4 dudes. But, they're just not waters that I swim in. So I don't know very much about the whole Call of Duty thing. That feels very cynical and cash grabby, especially if they're not like the best one was still Modern Warfare 2, I think everybody tells me.
Yeah.
Because the story was really, really good.
Well, I mean, the dynamics, the game dynamics themselves haven't changed substantially. I think we've kind of I don't want to say peak, but we've hit a point where the dynamic or how dynamic we can make things, we can make that interface, we're really hampered.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many triggers, there's only so many buttons you can have available to somebody, and then there's only so many things you can make available via those particular actions. So, yeah, I think that's true to the casual player. Yes, but there are games like Arma which are closer to closer to like simulations that are quite a bit deeper in terms of like their gameplay. But for the casual gamer, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, the casual gamer.
I mean, if you're playing Call of Duty,
90% of them.
Yeah, and that's not a value judgment. I'm not like,
Yeah, it is.
If
it's like you were talking shit about old movies earlier, dude. Total value judgment.
I was talking shit about old people watching old movies.
Shut up.
There it is. The vertical, the horizontal, the curveball. All right, we're creeping up on an hour.
Damn you.
We're creeping up on an hour, which means just like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need. Fuck.
Use your words.
I can't. They're old.
Slow it down this time.
Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, SOS Sobriety.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. And for those friends and family of addicts that need a little bit of support or help from a group-type setting, there's Al-Anon family groups at www.al-anon.alateen.org or 1-888-425-2666. From all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, I'm Will.
I'm Tiki.
I'm Girthy Rabbit.
You are a girthy rabbit. We wish you warm, creamy regards. Good night, everybody. You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SvP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.